trying to evaluate whether something occurred, you have to look at different pieces of the narrative. The location, where it happened, the witnesses, who were they, what did they say, the details. The details are very important in time. So we start off with the location, and according to their complaint, after approximately 20 minutes, she arrived at a White House with a U-shaped driveway and a gate. There is no such location in New York, 20 minutes from Radio City. It does not exist. There is no such location. We don't know whether they created a location in order to try to get jurisdiction in New York so they could bring this case in New York, or whether they just didn't do their homework. But any New Yorker knows there is no such location. Beyond that, this was supposed to have taken place at Mr. Combs' after party, according to them. When you look at the homes associated with Mr. Combs during that period of time, and even not during that period of time, none of them matches. He had a townhouse, he had a house in the Hamptons hours away, and he had homes in New Jersey, but not at that time. None of the homes work, the location doesn't work, because this never happened. And again, when you really bear down on the location and his whereabouts, you quickly realize, because if there's photographic evidence and witnesses are coming forward, that Mr. Carter was at a commercial establishment after the VMAs. He wasn't at a house. Unfortunately for them, they needed to create this house in order to create the narrative. But he wasn't at a White House that did not exist. And this is a photograph of him at a location after the VMAs. So, as we can continue through this, Jane Doe does not say that the assault happened at a commercial establishment. She can't. That wouldn't make any sense. Yet they stand by it. They double down. They triple down. White House, White House. The White House doesn't exist. And then we get to the witnesses. And I think at the outset, everybody has to remember that in 24 years, not a single witness has ever come forward saying this happened. Quarter of a century. Think about that. She says she's at the party alone, this 13-year-old girl, and she finds herself in the room with the three most famous people at the party. Just think about how unnatural, how little common sense that makes. And according to her, one of the witnesses is a female celebrity who's just standing there watching the repetitive rape of a child. That celebrity does nothing, says nothing, reports nothing. And in fact, they won't even identify her. According to them, there's an adult female in the room watching the rape of a child. They refuse to identify her. So then we continue, and you look and there's celebrities that she says she's mingling with before. Afterwards, she says she runs out of the house naked. Runs out of the house naked. None of them notice that. None of them pay any notice. For 24 years, none of them has said anything. And so she's just asked in this interview, she's asked, well, I mean, celebrities are recognizable people. Surely you can tell us one celebrity that was there. Just give us one name so that we know this happened. And she says, okay, Benji Madden was there. And she wants to conjure up religion and say, I'm religious. I remember his tattoo. She looks and remembers so vividly the tattoo and the conversation with Mr. Madden. Well, Mr. Madden wasn't there. He already said he wasn't there. His tour schedule says he wasn't there. And he wasn't there because this never happened. None of this ever happened. And you keep going, and you ask yourself, well, who is this complaining witness? She does not come forward with her real name. She proceeds under Jane Doe. There's no report to the police. According to her, she never tells anybody for 24 years. Not one person, not alone in the car for 5 hours at home, on her way home. Not one person, not a diary, not a family member, not a friend. Most people, when this happens, there's a need to tell somebody. We call these prompt outcry witnesses. In most complaints like this, people tell somebody. She says nobody for 24, 25 years. And then we get to the details. And I want to make sure this is clear. When people make up an account, whether intentionally or their mind is playing tricks on them, they can always get that core part of the story right. They can just keep repeating it over and over and over again. This is what happened, that core part. But they're always going to mess up the details. When something isn't real, when something doesn't happen, you're going to get the details wrong because you weren't really there. And so she starts with her story about her friend that dropped her off. Okay? This drive of over 5 hours, the friend would have had to have gone 10 plus hours to drop her off. Because she's got to get there. If this is real, she's got to get there. But guess what? This friend of hers, she doesn't get out of the car right? Think about that. She's just leaving a 13-year-old girl alone in Midtown. She doesn't even want to get out of the car. She came all that way. There can't be a witness there. She can't have a witness there because this never happened. So as you keep going, you ask yourself, but how did she end up in the car in the first place? And so she creates this story. She says, I snuck out the window, right? But now we know she came from Rochester. So she would have been sneaking out of the window at 3 in the afternoon in the middle of broad daylight. Never heard of such a thing. Defies common sense. Doesn't make any sense because this never happened. And so she tells this story because she's got to create a way that she gets out of the house and ends up in New York City. And as we keep going here, the friend that implausibly leaves her there, there's then some pressure on that part of the story because it doesn't make any sense. And so the lawyer is asked, well, just produce the friend. And so he has to find somebody that can make this work. And of course, as soon as he's pressed, they find somebody who they say is no longer alive. They can't corroborate it, and there's nobody to talk to. Okay, and if we can keep going. Next slide. So she then gets there, right? And she has this vivid tale of watching it on a Jumbotron. It's in her complaint. Clear as day. There was no Jumbotron that year. Okay? I don't know whether they were Googling images and found the wrong year. I don't know whether she's just making it up out of whole cloth. There is no Jumbotron. In fact, they didn't even get a permit, according to the police and the city, for the Jumbotron that year. So that didn't happen. None of the details are right because this never happened. If we can keep going. And then she says, I'm knocking on the doors and the windows of limousines and VIPs. Of course, that doesn't work either. If you look at the video, photographs, that whole area was blocked off. We've spoken to numerous people there that were in security. No one could have gotten anywhere near those cars because this never happened. She gets that fact wrong. And you know the whole story about, of all people, she knocks on Puff's window. A 13-year-old girl in Midtown by herself. Just think about that. Think about how illogical that is. Keep going. Again, this is Eminem performing in the streets. No Jumbotron. All the cars barricaded. Her facts don't check out because this never happened. If we can keep going. So what ends up happening then, and this is important, is her original account in the original complaint says that at 9:30 or 10, she's told to wait there to get a ride to the after party. Okay? That also doesn't work because there's photographs now of Mr. Combs, Mr. Carter at commercial establishments in New York after the VMAs. So this narrative of at 10 o'clock she ends up at this party can't work. They got caught. So they change it in the amended complaint that there's this multiple drop-off and pickup that lands them at this White House that doesn't exist.
Peace, love, and reparations. Welcome to Black Star TV 2.0. It's your boy Black Star. Come in, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. What's going on, family? Listen, man. Jay-Z's lawyer, yo, washed that little girl's whole story. I ain't even gonna say little girl because she's 38 now. Picked that story apart with ease. And I believe that anybody could have did that. I believe that you could have went into court pro se, representing yourself. I'm telling you, they about to throw those charges out. He dismantled her whole shit. And what's funny is that you only heard 8 minutes. It was a 30-minute breakdown. Yes. See, you were saying that you were at the house, but really they were at a commercial building. Like nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing about her story made any sense. He broke it all the way down to she would have had to leave the house at 3 in the afternoon. But in 3 in the afternoon, you snuck out your window. That just doesn't make sense. That you would have to sneak out your window at 3 in the afternoon. That's why I said, yo, craziness. And now Busby, he's sitting here trying to backpedal, saying, oh, somebody referred this case to my office. We ain't really go over it like that. But you said you thoroughly went through her story and vetted her. This is scary, man, because you gotta ask yourself, like, yo, how many of these frivolous lawsuits are they coming up with? because this was for Puffy. They amended it and put Jay-Z on the lawsuit. So, man, this is spooky, man. This is spooky. That story didn't hold up one bit. And it's crazy because if you go in the comments, you will still have a few people in there who just like, Jay-Z's a monster. Like, what are you talking about? And again, I ain't saying the man's a saint or anything. I'm not a Jay-Z fan, but wow. You took an autistic girl and pushed her to tell that story. I don't believe that she just thinks any of this. You feel me? That she thought of this on her own. She was pushed into that. And even when you think about it, right? When you say, yo, a 13-year-old being at a after party at the VMAs and being, sexually assaulted by, the two most famous people out here in America. Just in general, like, that shit just doesn't add up. Like, do y'all get what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't add up. Like a 13-year-old getting to an after party and being around the two most famous people in America. Two of the most famous people in America. Yeah, man, it's a lot. And then on top of that, like, she has autism. And it was so funny because when he was breaking the story down, he was like, the girl drove 5 hours and the girl who drove her, like, never got out the car. She drove all that way to just sit in the car the whole time. For you, watch this now, this is deep. For the other girl to now go to the VMAs, get molested, and get sexually assaulted, call her dad, get a ride, you never said anything to the other girl. So she just still sitting here waiting for you. Man. And just coincidentally, the one person that could have corroborated the story who drove you there is deceased. And he brought up a great point too about the whole, the female celebrity who they won't name, who they say seen a 13-year-old get repeatedly sexually assaulted on numerous occasions. Forcefully, like, sexually assaulted. Like, not no just, she was down with it. She's saying, like, no, she was forced. And, like, this person never said anything. And I feel like they had to name a female celebrity because they knew that them two wasn't just going to be in the room by themselves. There has to be some female there, right? But they know they can't name the female celebrity because the female celebrity going to say, no, I've never seen it. That's a lie. You get what I'm saying? How would she not know who this female celebrity is? And what would be your strategy in not naming the female celebrity who could also verify your story? What's the strategy in that? Man, son picked them apart. And I can guarantee you that lawsuit will be thrown out in about a month. Within the next 30 days, that lawsuit will be thrown out of court. I'm guaranteeing you. But family, again, and this is another reason, I'm going to turn this into a reparations conversation. Because what they are doing to Puffy and how they are trying to get Jay-Z, right? This is exactly why we need our own criminal justice system. We need our own tribal courts, our own tribal hospitals, police officers and units, departments. Like, we have to get up out of this system, man. This is I'm white, and I say, and mind you, they just let Daniel Penny go, who killed the nigga on camera. He choked him from behind. That was a lynching. That was a public lynching with Daniel Penny, and they let this dude go. Meanwhile, we got like a 13-year-old autistic child who's now 38 years old talking about being, sexually assaulted. And I want to use the R word, but I can't. But like, you got that by like the two most famous people in America at the same time. Wow. Like, you can't even make this stuff up. And it's like, where does this stop? Again, because they have the law set so loosely where you can do stuff like this to people, and it's like, and it's nothing like the other person can really do about it besides, try to defend themselves. But how can somebody keep defending themselves against lies? At some point, man, listen, they gonna clock you upside your head, man. You feel me? Like with Puffy, it's so many lawsuits, and 90-something% of them are all BS. He ain't doing nothing to all of y'all. And again, like I said, the dude, he's a freaky dude. He might be sexually weird, but I don't really think he's out here like straight up abusing, like sexually abusing people. I just don't feel like that's what's really going on. You feel me? I don't feel like he's abusing people. I feel like he does sexually weird stuff with people, but I feel like those people want to do it. I feel like those people be down with what's going on. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, you're trying to turn his freakiness into a charge. And you're trying to turn him into a criminal with it. Again, what messed Puffy up was us seeing the video of him busting Cassie upside the dome. That video don't come out. You might have a lot more people still arguing, but see, because of that, now everybody can throw frivolous lawsuits out against the man and wipe his bank account clean, which is, I don't feel like it's fair. I don't feel like that's fair. You know what I mean? But again, man, old girl got her story chopped up. I'm giving it about 30 days before they dismiss those charges, and because Busby already backpedaling, and I'm telling you, it's more to that breakdown than that. I just stopped it at the 8-minute mark, But he killed them, and that's supposed to be Elon Musk's lawyer. So he's a good lawyer, but I'm gonna tell you right now, you could have beat that with a public defender. I promise you. Me personally, I would have beat that pro se by myself, defending myself. Come on, man. That story wasn't going to be hard to break down and figure out lies from. You feel me? It's a way that you try to get to the truth in a story. And I don't think that they did their whole due diligence when they was trying to make that story up, because it's definitely a made-up story. Talking about took it to the house. Man, make sure y'all hit that like button, man. Smash that like button and share this out, please, family, please. And again, man, I hope y'all doing well and doing good, man. Listen, it is what it is, man. Peace, love, and reparations. We up out of here.